Greetings guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. Facebook. We all know her. We all have a relationship with her of some sort. Facebook is like one of the most visited websites every single day. I am actually going to Google this number. There's no way that's correct. Wait, there's no way that that's true. So, Facebook is a website that a lot of people use. Apparently, 2 billion people log into Facebook every single day. Every day. A quarter of the world's population logs into Facebook every day. And that's absurd. Facebook is one of the most visited websites ever, with over 2 billion people logging in every single day. And I personally don't know very many people who still use Facebook, or at least use it often. I know a few people who use it for messaging, which I guess is included in this. And I occasionally will log in to go try find a photo that I know I uploaded a decade ago. But other than that, I don't know very many people who are active on Facebook outside of like aunties and uncles and everyone in that sort of demographic. Our parents use Facebook. Our aunties and uncles and grandparents use Facebook. The people we went to school with that are getting married and having kids, they use Facebook. You know, that's kind of the demographic, which means, you know, we get a lot of interesting things posted there. There's a lot of memes that are shared on Facebook that make absolutely no sense. There's a lot of interaction with absolutely ridiculous things. A lot of middle-aged people seem to think Facebook is much more anonymous than it actually is. And it's just all around an incredibly odd place. It's because it's a lot of people who don't really use any other social media and who still, after all these years, don't entirely know how any of it works. And they're all there and having a time. We all see the absurd memes that our like conservative uncle has shared, or the minion memes that an auntie has posted that they think is absolutely hilarious. We also have a whole bunch now of AI generated images that for some reason so many people believe they can be the most absurd images you can think of. And people will be in the comments believing them. The other day, I logged into Facebook because I was looking for a photo, and the first thing that came up on my timeline, and I didn't screenshot this, which is really annoying, but the first thing that came up on my timeline was Tom Holland proposed to Zendaya at some award show, and it was like an AI image, but every single person in the audience looked real fucked up, but it had like hundreds of comments from people who fully thought it was real, and I was just there like, what has the world come to? What is going on? Oh my god, people are far too easily fooled by some AI images that are so clearly fabricated. But anyway, with all of that being said, today's video, I wanted to go and have a look at some Facebook memes because they really are a genre of their own. They need their own separate video to talk about because they just do, you know? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have a look at some Facebook memes and we're going to have a conversation and talk about them and laugh at the people who post shit on Facebook. Anyway, before we do properly get into it, I would like to take a moment to say thank you to today's patron of the day, Natasha. I appreciate you and your support so much, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If anyone else would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. It starts at as little as £1 a month, and I appreciate it greatly. I've just updated a couple of the perks in which for the top tier, you will get a bracelet that I have made. I've been making a lot of friendship bracelets, and I've made them for patrons that will be sent out semi-regularly and one upon signing up. And also, currently, as you are watching this, I am in South America, traveling for 10 weeks, and I'll be uploading some things to my Instagram story, but I will be doing full travel vlogs over on Patreon, patreon.com/savvycat. So if you are interested in any of that, Go check it out. I appreciate it greatly. Okay, anyway, I've talked for far too long. Let's get into the memes. Okay, so first up, we have one of these AI images that I was talking about that exist entirely for engagement bait. And it's an old man wearing a hat that says, AI is not good with words. Really, AI does not know how to write words. It got veteran correct, but I can't tell what that first word is meant to say. But it says a word. And anyway, he's holding a sign that says, I'm World War II veteran. Today is my 103rd birthday, comma. And these get so much engagement. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's so many posts like this of just like AI generated old people being like, it's my 100th birthday. It's my 102nd birthday. I'm a veteran. Like there's so many of them because they work. It works. They get so many comments from people. I can't look at them here because this is from a Reddit, not actually from Facebook, but I've seen them before. And this is where I have questions, all right? I have so many questions about engagement bait in specific places because sometimes I just like really, truly do not understand like why we need to be doing it. I understand engagement bait when you're like, you know, a blue tick user on Twitter who now get paid revenue or whatever. So they do a lot of engagement bait. I get it when, you know, you do clickbait on YouTube titles or whatever because it's monetized and you're getting money. So like that makes sense. I don't know how Facebook works, but as far as I'm aware, it's not a monetized platform. And so I feel like you're not really benefiting anything off of getting likes on a fake AI birthday post. Unless then these people are following this page because they posted this image and then that page is selling things and people are buying those things. I don't understand. I'm not a middle-aged 50-year-old man who engages in these posts, so I can't really speak on it. But there's a lot of internet engagement bait that exists that just truly confuses me. Like people offering like really bad opinions and they know that they're like really bad opinions and people give them attention. And I just don't get, like, what do you gain from that? It's like, okay, you got a bunch of quote retweets. Okay, you got a bunch of likes. Now what? Like, I'm confused. What was the point of this? I don't understand. That's a whole separate thing. My brain is everywhere. ADHD is going off today. Next up, we have a classic Minion meme. And this person posted it on Reddit and said, why did my granddad post this? And that's a really good question because this meme just says, Dear liberals, if this offends you, you need a history lesson. And it's 3 minions all naked and like facing away from you so you just see their butts. And now what? What does that mean? What does this mean? I'm so baffled by this. Dear liberals, if this offends you, you need a history lesson. If I'm offended by 3 minion butts, I need a history what history lesson? Do I need to go watch the Minion movie? I'm confused. I thought it was like liberals and leftists and whatever who were for nudity and promiscuity and stuff. I thought it was the conservatives who didn't like butts. I'm trying to think of some sort of reason, but that's like the opposite to the reason. Do I need to watch all the Despicable Me movies? Do I need to watch the Minion movie? I have in fact seen them all. I even went and watched Despicable Me 4 the other day because I needed aircon and it was the only movie that isn't being boycotted that was on. And nothing about Minion butts aside from the usual. I don't know. I don't know why your granddad posted that. If anyone could explain to me what this means, let's try to give it a shot in the comments. Figure it out. This is a husband and a wife sitting on a couch, and he says, this is a photo of a sports player being carried off, and it says, got cramps, need a team to carry him off the court. And then a military person in the army, and it says, got shot in the neck, kept fighting the Taliban for 90 minutes. America can survive without the American athlete, but it cannot survive without the American soldier. I don't see how any of this is relevant to anything. And I would like to argue that it is actually the opposite. The soldiers fighting in wars and being shot at, they're not actually doing anything to help you in the States. They're not, you can absolutely survive without that. Like, I don't live in any countries where, you know, they've sent soldiers overseas to fight in wars that aren't theirs, at least as far as I'm aware, or at least not to the extent that the US does it. Like, you can't go into countries and create problems and then be like, our country wouldn't survive without you. Yeah, you would. You'd be just fine and dandy. You'd be totally fine. Whereas the athletes, American sports are like massive, right? Like, do you know how much revenue like athletes bring in? How much money goes into sports and how much like tax that gains, you know what I mean? Like, it's quite funny because athletes have really high salaries a lot of the time in the States, and that's obviously being taxed nowhere near enough considering the salaries they have. And then so that money that they're being taxed goes into the economy, which then goes to feed the military, which you don't actually need. So I would say sports is helping the country and the military is hurting the country. So I think you got this all twisted and it doesn't make any sense. I'd like to hear an explanation as to how soldiers are helping you in any way. You don't have to be into sports. That's fine. I'm not into sports, but you know, I'm logical about it. Sports also brings in tourism, not even just tax. It brings in tourism, which brings in more money. So like sports helps the country a lot. The military, it doesn't. It spends trillions of dollars just to hurt people. So, yeah. This is a kid playing video games and he's like shooting people in the game. Saying boom, bang, bang, and all of the soft toys around him are like covering his face and they've got stitches because obviously he's ripped them apart before, and then dies in the game. So the next picture is they've thrown the remote at the TV and broken the TV. All the stuffed toys are ripped apart and thrown across the room. And now he's the one saying boom, bang, bang, not the TV. Because, you know, video game, bad. Shooting in video games means shooting in real life. Violence in video games makes violent in real life. I love when people say this because these are the same people who go and watch like action movies. It's like these parents say like video games are making kids dangerous and making kids violent, and then they go and watch like fucking, I don't know, James Bond or whatever, you know? Like, make it make sense. If a kid is going to react to losing a video game by throwing the remote and ripping toys apart, that is because they have anger issues. They have poor anger management. And they're going to react like that in other situations outside of the video game. That's how they are. That's how their emotional stability is. The video game is just what triggered that to go off. But other things can do that too. The problem isn't the video games. The problem is that the child hasn't learned to emotionally regulate. And that is on you as the parent to help them learn to emotionally regulate. If your child is reacting like this, then you haven't done your proper job at teaching your kid emotional regulation, or maybe there is a deeper psychological issue, in which case you need to take your child to therapy and get help for their emotional outbursts. So it's not the video game's fault. Okay? Video games are fine. Not everyone who plays video games are violent. Violent people are violent whether they play video games or not. So thought I would let you know. When you realize doctors in Canada kill 25 times more people than assault rifles do in America, and it's a red maple leaf holding a Canadian flag, but instead of the maple leaf on the flag, it says, fuck. And I don't quite believe that this is true. In the US, there is approximately like 48,000 gun deaths per year, which is horrifying. Oh my god, what an absurd number. That makes me so deeply upset and angry. Oh my god. And in Canada, there have been 44,000 assisted deaths since 2016. So that is over 8 years' time. Assisted deaths have had still less than the number of yearly deaths from firearms in the States. So well off. And if you're counting just the amount of people who die in hospital, like regardless of the situation, like doctors have tried to help save their lives, etc., you know, but they just died, then that's 116,000, which is still nowhere near 25 times the 48,000 gun deaths that exist in the States. However, how many people die in hospital in the US every year is 3.2 million. So that is closer to that number, but still I can't do maths right now. That is closer to the 25 times more, but it also nullifies your point completely. Like, I don't know how you would possibly think that doctors kill that many people, or even hospitals kill that many people. So, you know, point null. I love that people just share random shit on Facebook. It's the fact that, like, someone's fucking uncle saw this post and was like, oh my God, that's horrible. That sounds about right. I understand. I love guns and I hate public healthcare, so I'm going to share this because this is what I want to think. Without ever checking it, without realizing how ridiculous that sounds. Like, either they are greatly underestimating how many gun deaths happen every year, or greatly overestimating how many people die each year. I've talked about this for too long, but ridiculous thing to say. My generation was expected to climb a 30-foot rope with a life-saving 2-inch thick mat below. And it's a photo of boys in gym climbing ropes. And okay, and like, why does that matter? I don't understand the whole mindset of like, I suffered, so you have to suffer too. Like, did you enjoy climbing the rope? Probably not. And like you say, it wasn't very safe, you know? Like, if you fell from the top and landed on the 2-inch thick mat, you could be paralyzed. You could break your back. You could really, really hurt yourself. So I think that if they don't do it anymore, that's probably a good thing. I don't know why you're wishing for harm upon children just because you had to be in a dangerous situation. Surely you want things to get better. Surely you don't want kids to be in dangerous situations. I just don't. I don't understand. Kids are getting soft these days. We aren't putting them in lethal positions. I mean, good. This is a photo of Scarlett Johansson, like, writing notes and like glaring at someone like, what the fuck? And that's because, you know, the text that goes with this is, when the waitress asks if you want any dessert and you ask for a shake made with milk from those tankers. Because, you know, sexual harassment, fucking hilarious. It's so funny. Isn't it so funny to sexualize and objectify women in their place of work? That's hilarious, guys. Let's share this on Facebook because we have to have a good laugh about how we love to do this and make women uncomfortable. The fact that this meme was created and the fact that it's shared horrifies me because it kind of almost seems like this is something that people actually do and would actually say to some degree, and at the very least find it hilarious to make women look at you that way, and we probably have some horrifying clapback to being looked at that way. And especially in the States, taking complete advantage of the fact that waitresses require tips, like they rely on tips. And that is one of many massive issues with the tipping in the States, of just the fact that like so many people in hospitality and retail, I believe, have to just put up with the shittiest shit because they need it in order to like make enough money to make ends meet. Like, people will just straight up sexually harass you and you have to just like smile through it because you need their tip. And if you don't, then you don't get paid. And that's fucked. Especially because I think in a lot of situations, you know, the people who run the places are sleazy men as well who don't give a fuck and just want you to be nice to your customers. Not always, but horrible culture that exists. And it's horrible regardless of anything that anyone thinks that this is remotely okay to say or even to joke about, because what the fuck? Leave women alone. I've never worked hospo before, but I worked retail. I worked at a jeans shop for 1.5 years, and like even there you get some just weird people. I had like old men come in and ask me to measure their waist. I'd like hand them the tape measure because they're like, I don't know my size. And they're like, oh, can you measure it for me? I'm like, no, you can do that yourself. Like touching your arm, calling you sweetheart, and like, can you get me these jeans? And you do, and they're like, good girl. And you're like, huh. And we don't even get tips. We don't even work for tips. You just kind of have to tolerate it because like, you just want to do your job, you know? Anyway, some people are gross and horrible, and I think it's even worse in the States because of tipping culture. People think they can get away with much more. This is a comic where this unattractive man comes in to his beautiful wife with his pants down, just running towards her, and she's like, oh, I have a headache. And then he's doing the same, coming to her in bed, and she's like, oh, I have a headache. And then he takes her to the doctor and tells the doctor she has a problem with headaches. And then the doctor asks her to strip. And she's like, oh no, I have a headache. I'm confused by this one. Okay, I have some questions. This whole thing is so bothersome, you know? Like, firstly, bro, just like running at your wife with your pants around your ankle, like, whoa, you're not setting the mood at all. You're way overstepping here, and this is making it very much seem like it's entirely about you, you know? Problem. And I just think that it's really important to note that if every time you are trying to have sex or trying to initiate sex, the response is like, oh no, I feel sick, oh, I have a headache, oh, whatever excuse, it's because your partner doesn't feel comfortable or safe saying no, because they feel like you are going to get your feelings hurt, or you're going to try guilt them into having sex regardless if they say no. And I think that is really important to establish that, like, in a healthy relationship, you should be able to just say no with no reason at all. You can just be like, no, I'm not feeling like it today. Or just like, no, I don't really want to be touched. You don't have to offer an explanation. You can just say no. You don't need an excuse. So red flag that she's constantly saying she has a headache, and even bigger red flag that he gets really mad about the fact she has a headache. But then I have a question about the ending here, right? He takes her to the doctor to sort out her headache problem. And then the doctor asks her to strip. And she says, oh no, I can't, I have a headache. Like, why is the doctor asking her to strip? To deal with a headache issue. I would also be like, oh no, I have a headache. Like, you know, I would be like, no, I'm here for my headaches. I don't need to take my clothes off. I'm just baffled by how this ended. Maybe I'm just misinterpreting it. Maybe I am missing something, but I'm confused. My friendship circle over the years. 2018, 20 friends. 2020, 12 friends and 2 shotguns. Or revolvers, or I don't know my type of guns. Handguns? Whatever. 2022, 4 friends, the same 2 handguns and 2 assault rifles. 2024, 1 dog and a ridiculous amount of firearms. Like, so many firearms. And I understand why you don't have friends anymore. Like, I get it. Because, like, if my friend bought, like, a single firearm, I think I would be like, okay, I'm not here for this. Like, in certain places, I kind of get it for self-defense reasons. If you are in a place where gun violence is prevalent and you are like a minority person, you know, a marginalized person, then I don't like it, but I can understand it, you know? But once you go past that, once you get a single assault rifle, like, I don't want to be anywhere near you. Thank you. No, I get why you don't have any friends. And if you are prioritizing firearms over friends and they are your friends, you need to seek psychological help immediately. And you probably shouldn't have all of them. No one should have all of these. But I'm concerned. I'm like deeply, deeply concerned. It's so scary. Some people are so scary. This is a comic. A woman is in a grocery shop with a shopping trolley. And a man comes up to her and says, excuse me, I couldn't help but notice how beautiful you are. And she says, oh, thanks, but I'm a married woman. So he says, you're fucking lost, bitch. Your ass is ugly anyways. And then she suddenly looks at him with hard eyes. Where are you getting this information from? What are you talking about? Like, is this why men decide to react in this way? Do they think this is how it's gonna go? Like, bro, this isn't how this works. At all. Turning around and being an absolute, like, misogynistic, raging asshole is not actually going to win you any favors. It's really not. I don't know where this whole idea came from that, like, if you're nice to women, they hate you, but if you're a terrible person and you insult them, then they'll love you. Like, that's not how this works. That's not how this goes. Be a decent person, and if someone says no, then just, like, let them say no. Like, walk away, you know? Carry on with your day. Respect the rejection. This is a picture of, like, a skeleton made out of pill bottles, and it says, if medicine worked, you wouldn't need to refill your prescription. What? What? That's not how anything works. I'm so concerned about people. Like, the medicine does work, and that's why I need to refill my prescription. It's not just to take it once and you're cured forever. That's not how That's not how anything works. It's like your body changes every day. It's doing things every day. If oxygen really worked, then you wouldn't have to breathe all the time. Like, no, you constantly need new oxygen because your body uses all of it. You're breathing constantly because I breathe in and then, oh, my body has used all of the oxygen, so now I need to breathe in again. You know, I need to drink water every day because I drank water yesterday and now my body has used that water to do what it needs to do and now I need to replace it. It's the same thing. That's why you refill your prescriptions. I'm really confused by why you would think this at all. The medicine does work. That's why I refill it and keep getting it. If it didn't work, then no, I wouldn't refill it because it didn't work. So why would I keep taking it? Wild take. Open the schools. Send everyone back to school, I think. I think we all need to go back to like biology and chemistry and whatever. Like, my God. This image, I do not understand at all. So I would like to open the comments up for debate on what the fuck is happening in this image, okay? I'll describe it to you. Basically, it's a woman who is next to her bed and she has hanging up on like a coat rack. She has 7 men like hanging on her coat rack. And the first one is like red-faced and hanging there. And she's pulling the second one off the rack or she's putting it back. I can't tell. And on her wall, she has a photo of her like in a wedding dress, like marrying all of them. And I don't know what this is trying to say. I looked at this image for a long time. I could not figure it out. I showed it to Kat, who also could not figure it out. I guess it's like being like she's using men. I don't know. But the comments on this were quite funny, and I screenshot my favorite one to share, which is, it looks like the picture is cropped and there is someone in the bed next to where this woman is going to sleep. Is it another woman? Is the woman dressing up like a man, but only able to please the other woman by having her sit on his face? The faces are red on the first 2. It looks like there are 7 men hanging, 1 for each day of the week. I'm confused. And I'm just kind of obsessed with the idea of this being like weird heteronormativity meets like sex of like, well, I need to put on my man suit so that my girlfriend can ride my face. Like, that's hilarious. I love this interpretation. It makes no sense, but I'm obsessed with it. And someone else said she likes her men hung, and that's also fucking hilarious. But yeah, I don't understand. Is it just trying to say that she sleeps with a lot of men? She uses men and then hangs them up to dry? I don't understand, especially because she's apparently married to all of them. So the comments are open for debate. Please let me know your thoughts. This is another like back in my day type post, which is the way I was taught to swim, and it is someone throwing a child into a lake. And then the way kids are taught to swim now, and it's parents in the pool with their child in like an inflatable ring with like floaties and a swim cap. And again, I'm like, why are we complaining about not putting children in danger? I'm sorry you were traumatized by being thrown in a lake, but I think that it's good that we don't do that. You know? And here's the thing is that I think that some people still do that, which bad, don't. And I also think that back when you were a kid, not everyone did that. So that's like your trauma that you are projecting. Yeah, you know, me personally, I think it's a really good thing that we aren't trying to drown our children. I think that we definitely should be getting them used to being in water and helping them learn how to stay afloat and be safe in water before we just like let them flounder. It's like the whole fucking like student debt thing. Like, I had to pay my student debt, so it's not fair that your student debt doesn't have to be paid. It's like, and how happy were you about having to pay for your student debt? Probably not. You probably weren't very happy. You probably really wish you didn't have to do that. So isn't it so great? Isn't it so great that some people don't have to do that now? Like, why do you want to continue the cycle of suffering? Surely you have the whole thing of like, I suffered so other people don't have to. Like, that's personally the way I feel like it should be viewed, and it's insane to me that some people just think I had to suffer so you have to suffer. Like, oh my God. Whoa. Long ago, our cousins were our best friends growing up. Now our children don't even know who they're related to. And it's a bunch of kids like sitting on a playground structure. What are you talking about? I don't understand. I don't understand where this is coming from. What are you talking about? I'm pretty sure people still know their families. People are still seeing their families. This is not something that has died. Like, do you have kids? Do they know their cousins? Because, like, if they do, then you really cannot be talking, can you? I think that it's okay to not know who you're related to. Sometimes that's for the better. And people still definitely do know their families. I promise you. I think it's more common to know your families than it is to not. A lot of women actually turn into good drivers. So if you're a good driver, watch out for turning women. You get it? Because women can't drive. That's why car insurance is more expensive for men. Because women get into more car crash. Oh no, wait, that's actually the opposite of how it goes. Men are the ones that get into more car crashes, and that's why their insurance is more expensive. Wow. The more you know. Ridiculous. Men are more reckless drivers on average. This is like a very well-known fact. You can ignore it all you like, but like overall, women are better and safer drivers. So I miss the old time stars, you know, the ones who wore clothes and had talent. It's so funny because all that's changed is that now we have so many more celebrities because it's easier to release content. Like anyone can do anything. So we have such a massive range, and acting as though there aren't like massive stars who are conservative is absurd. Like, it's ridiculous. You're just deliberately ignoring the fact that there are like modest celebrities that exist. There's a lot of them. They're there. Stop pretending they aren't and stop projecting. Okay. Now, this is possibly one of the most fucked up posts I've seen, really. And it goes, a family, wife, husband, and their 2 kids praying at dinner, love and Christ. And then in the next panel, we have a man holding the wife and 2 children at gunpoint and saying to the man he has to choose either like Christ or his family. And the next panel is him saying he chooses Christ because he loves Christ. And then the last frame is his family all in heaven hugging Jesus. Whoa. Whoa. I have very few words to express how actually insane this is. Your family is being held at gunpoint, and someone says, like, you can either, like, reject your faith or you and your entire family die, and you're like, I will never reject my faith. I love Jesus. Bro, at least lie. Like, what? At least fucking lie. You can say, like, I'm leaving the church. I don't need God. That's fine. And then save your family and then just, like, not, you know? And if this guy is, like, threatening to follow you to church every Sunday, just, like, do online services. Do your own Bible studies. I don't understand how you would ever make this decision, even in, like, a hypothetical. Because obviously this is never going to happen. Like, even in a hypothetical, how, oh my God, you're like, I would rather myself and my entire family die than say, I don't love Jesus. Bro, that's so fucked up. On that note, I think I'm going to leave this here. This video has been so much longer than I anticipated. I got so carried away so often. I hope that you did enjoy. Please, if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and trying to dissect some of these memes because I truly would love your input. A massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. I appreciate you greatly. And a huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patron, Michaela, Natasha, Lady Nutbar, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Samuel, Chris, Elias, Danielle, Eldo, Jessica, Ikazel, Mandy, Josh, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. much. Thank you so much for joining. If anyone else would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos early, and then for £3 and up, you get things such as outtakes, finished mini podcasts, live streams, vlogs, bracelets, and more. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi, to see some brief travel updates and other things going on in my brain and my life. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.